Today's program is how to convert more callers to clients without spending more money on advertising. And today's program is brought to you by the National Trial Lawyers, Top 100 Trial Lawyers. And with that, let's introduce our presenters. Michael, my name is Larry Bodine. I'm your host today, and I will be fielding your questions. I'm the editor of the National Trial Lawyers, and I'm also the Senior Legal Marketing Strategist for Lawlytics, which is a company that develops websites for attorneys. And a couple of housekeeping items. The program is going to be about 30 minutes long, and then you'll have a chance to ask your questions. So what I'd like you to do is to take a look at that little flyout on the right side of the screen, and you will see there is an option for questions. So simply click on that, and when a question occurs to you, just go ahead and type it in, and I'll see that. We will distribute the slides for this program. In fact, we will give you the address where you can find the slides on SlideShare and the very last slide. And then there will also be a recording, because we have people from all over the world who wanted to attend this program, which is at 3 a.m. in Australia, for example, so we'll be making a recording for everybody. So with that, let me introduce our speaker today. Michael Jalan is an author, speaker, marketing coach, and founder of Paperback Expert, a marketing-centric book publisher for attorneys. I met Michael several years ago at some marketing conference, and he really knows what he's talking about. And using his speak to write process, Michael will work with you and help you create a book in just 90 days. And then he teaches you exactly how to use your book to attract leads, convert clients, and generate profits. His first book, On Marketing, helped him convert leads and clients effortlessly. And now he leads others in the same experience. And he believes the book is the best marketing tool in your arsenal. And with that, Michael, I want to welcome you to the program. How are you today?
Hey, Larry. Thanks. I'm doing very well. Thanks for having me today.
Certainly. How's everything going on in Little Rock, Arkansas?
Everything's great. It's a beautiful, sunshiny day, and things are good. We're
Excellent.
Grateful.
Well, we all want to hear your program, so I will turn the presentership over to you. Take us away.
All right. I appreciate it. Well, thanks everybody for joining us. We're going to get right into this because I know time is of the essence for all of us. So we're going to begin today by talking about the end of the matter. And when Solomon wrote the book of Ecclesiastes, he wrote 12 chapters, and at the very end, he said, the end of the matter is this. And then he made his point. And a lot of presentations like this follow that pattern where they give you all of the information, they tease you with some stuff, they build up to a big crescendo and the big reveal at the end, hoping to get you all fired up and jazzed up and emotionally charged so that you'll make a purchase today. And I'm here to tell you that that's not going to happen today, because this is a no sales pitch webinar, really. I'm not going to ask you to buy anything today. And I tell you that so you can just relax. I want you to take in the information. I want you to see how this can apply to your business, how you can convert more callers to clients without spending more money on advertising. And my belief is that if the concept makes sense to you, you will want to take the next step, which is actually to get a phone call with me so that we can talk about it. So you're not going to get a pitch at the end to buy something today. We're going to give you all the information. So I wanted to tell you that early so you can just relax. If you have questions, like Larry said, put them in the flyout, but just sit back and relax. Now, my company is Paperback Expert. We're positioning experts for business growth. You're going to learn about positioning in this webinar and the importance of positioning yourself as an expert, as the legal authority in your market, and how that position can help you grow your business. That's what we're talking about today. And Larry mentioned how my first book on marketing really helped me. And that happened a few years ago when I left full-time vocational ministry, went out on my own to help business owners with marketing. And I wanted to find a way to differentiate myself from all the ad agencies and media reps who are knocking on your door every day trying to get you to buy billboards or TV or radio, because that's not what I do. I'm a marketing strategist. And so what I did is I took all of my strategies and I decided to publish my own book. So I published On Marketing, and I started using that to gain clients. And what I do, I'd call you and I'd set an appointment to meet with you, let's say next week. I'd mail my book out to you, say, read my book, and we'll have a great conversation. What happened is I'd walk into your office next week, And there it was. My book was on your desk. It was dog-eared, highlighted, underlined. You'd read my book. And as we talked, you would say, Michael, in your book, you said, how can you help me do that? And what I realized is you were looking at me as an expert, as an authority in marketing, not as a sales rep, not as a consultant, but as somebody who could help you get to where you wanted to go. And our business started to grow. And I soon had the idea, it was like, okay, well, why don't I help other people do this? Because you're an expert at what you do, but you're probably doing marketing just like everybody else does marketing. And what I found is when you position yourself as an expert with a book, everything changes. So I wrote my own book. I've done some other writing since then. I've published 3 other books. I'm writing my 5th book right now with Harlan Schillinger. And that book is around this topic about how to convert more callers to clients without spending more money on advertising. That book should publish in July, so you'll want to get your a copy of that. But I also do some writing for national trial lawyers. I write for PILMA. And these are just a few of the clients that have hired us to help them create a book and use it in their firm to grow their business. And you've got to look at your book as a marketing tool. And marketing can get very complex. So I learned a long time ago just to keep it simple. And I learned that concept from marketing guru Jay Abraham. And Jay's been around a long time helping businesses grow. And Jay taught me that the fastest way to gain more clients is not by spending more money on advertising to generate more leads, but to convert more of the leads that you're already generating. And that's a very powerful concept that we're going to talk about today of how can you increase your business and drive more revenue by converting more of the leads that you're already generating. And so a way to help you understand the magnitude that this can have for your business, because at the end of the day, we're all here to serve more clients and generate more revenue. I created a conversion calculator so that you can really understand what this might mean for you. So here's our conversion calculator. Let me see if I can get my screen to move. There it is. So let's say that your monthly ad spend for advertising is $50,000 a month. So you're spending $600,000 a year. You're gaining 400 callers per month from that. Calls coming into your office. If you're converting 20% of those callers, you're generating 80 new cases a month. If your average settlement is $4,500, then your net revenue a month is $360,000, so $4.3 million a year. What we want to focus on is this number right here. If you can change that number from 20%, just 3% more conversions to 23%, you're going to put $648,000 in your pocket in the next 12 months without spending any more money on advertising because you're already generating the calls. We're just helping you increase your conversion ratio. Now, what if your firm's not that big? What if you say, Michael, I don't get that many calls? Well, let's say if you get 200 calls a month, all right, you're going to generate $324,000 of revenue into your pocket in the next 12 months simply by changing your conversion ratio. That's what we're talking about. And it even works if you're only getting 100 calls a month into your office. You would still generate $162,000 of additional revenue. That's money that you're losing today because you're only converting 20%. I want to help you see how you can convert more of the calls you're already getting without spending more money on advertising. So that's the conversion calculator. Hopefully, you know your own numbers. You can see the power and the impact this can have on your business and generating more revenue for you. And the advertising and things you do, everybody has a marketing funnel. I like to call it a bucket. And what we do is we advertise to pour people into the top of the bucket, hoping that they'll end up being a client. Well, the problem is that your bucket has holes in it. You're only converting 20% of the calls that are coming in the top of your bucket. So you're losing 80% of them. Those people, many of those people are hiring somebody. So they're hiring your competitor. That's money you're losing because you're not converting them after they call you. So I think the best way to fill your bucket is not by spending more money to put more people on the top of your bucket, but to plug the holes in your bucket. And your bucket will fill up faster and you'll make more money, just like we saw on the conversion calculator. So remember that the fastest way to increase your income is to plug the holes in your lead conversion process. That's what we're talking about today. Now, here's a typical process that you go through and law firms go through. You advertise, okay? And you have to do this. You've got to get the phone to ring. So you advertise on TV or on social media, pay-per-click, billboards, or a dozen other media channels. And advertising is great when it's done properly. You need to do it to make the phone ring. So you advertise to make the phone ring. When it does, you pick it up, you answer it. You have a defined intake process, hopefully. You get their information, you hang up the phone, then you begin your follow-up. That's through text or calls, emails, physical mail, and social media connections. And you're doing that follow-up in order to convert them to a client. Because if you don't, they're going to hire somewhere else, and that fee goes away from you. So that's the typical process that you go through. The challenge is most marketing focuses here on advertising to make the phone ring. Whether you're doing TV or billboard or pay-per-click or the next shiny object that's going to come out next week, they're all going to be talking about this. How do you convert leads to make the phone ring? Profitable marketing focuses here. After the phone rings, what can you do to convert that caller into a client? What can you send them? Because what you send them will make all the difference in the world. Because what you send callers after they call does make a difference. If this is what you're sending out, brochures that look like everybody else, then you're showing up looking like every other attorney. You're not giving me a reason to choose you. If you are just like everybody else, why should I choose you? What you want to do is send something that differentiates you in the mind of that caller. And if you take these brochures, which are very typical, you move the logos from one to the other, they say the same thing. So you can't just send a brochure or a business card. You need to send something that's going to differentiate you. So I tell people, don't play the same game that everybody else is playing. You need to change the game. And I learned this from a book years ago that I read by Jack Trout and Al Reese. It's called Positioning: The Battle for Your Mind. And in that book, they taught me that the marketing battle is really fought in the mind of your prospect. It's not fought out in the marketplace like most people think. Marketing is fought in the mind. And in this book, Trout and Reese talk about ladders, category ladders. Okay, so in your mind, you have a ladder for every category. And on the rungs of that ladder are different company names. So I might say, you know, where's your favorite restaurant? And you tell me, and that's the top rung of your ladder. I could be more specific and say, what's your favorite lunch restaurant? Well, you'd have a different category ladder for lunch restaurants, and whoever's on the top rung, that's who comes to mind. So you want to position yourself on the top rung of the category ladder in the mind of your prospect. Here's some other examples. If I said rental cars, who comes to mind? Typically Hertz comes to mind because they own the top rung in rental cars. If I said pizza delivery, well, Domino's pops to your mind because Domino's owns the top rung. Or if I said overnight package delivery, FedEx pops into your mind because FedEx, Domino's, and Hertz own the top rung of the category ladder. That's what you want to do, because what you have to understand is how we think about these brands influences which one we choose. How callers think about you influences who they choose. And what you want to do is cause them to think differently about you than your competitors. Harlan Schillinger is a legal marketing expert. He's been serving the legal industry for 40 years, helping law firms grow. In a recent conversation, he told me that after spending thousands and perhaps millions of dollars to attract a client, take their calls and try to bring them into your firm, you have nothing of value to send them after the first call. You're just like all the rest of the lawyers hustling for clients, sending them the ultimate business card that no one throws away, separates you from everyone else. So the question is, what will position you on the top rung of the ladder in your caller's mind? And that will happen when you send every caller a signed copy of your own book. So here's a book we're producing for Dino Colombo, and he's going to use his book following our strategies to grow his firm. Here's another client of ours, Steve Grover, an attorney up in Canada. Steve said, I wanted my book to connect with my market. As a motorcycle enthusiast, I told about my rides, I showed pictures of my bikes, and I gave helpful information about how to ride safe. I give my book to past and current clients, other professionals I work with, motorcycle shops, schools, shows, and anywhere else I can think of. It is far better than giving out my business card since it shows I care about motorcycle safety and society. Steve gets it. Steve published his book. He's been using it for a couple of years to give out, and he is connecting with his market and his audience in a very deep and profound way. They see him as somebody just like them, as somebody who cares, and he's growing his business using his book properly. That's what we want to help you do as well. Remember that generating leads is important. You need to advertise to generate leads, but converting leads is vital, and that's the missing element in most law firms. The easiest way to convert more callers to clients without spending more money on advertising is to send every caller a copy of your own book. Position yourself as the legal authority in their mind. It's exactly what Dean is going to do. It's exactly what Steve Grover is doing right now, and it's exactly what you can do. So what happens in their mind when you send them your book? Well, you gain instant credibility because you have taken the time to put your thoughts and your stories into a book. Books give you credibility. We believe people who write books, and so you'll gain instant credibility. You'll become a recognized authority. They will see you as somebody who, when you speak, they're going to follow you. They're going to believe what you say simply because your information's in a book. Now, notice you want to be a recognized authority. Look at the word authority. Notice how the word author is embedded in the word authority. Authors have authority, and that's what you want. You want to be a recognized authority. It also helps you develop greater trust. How much trust could you develop with a prospect if you could spend an hour, 2 hours, maybe 3 hours just talking with them and connecting with them? That's exactly what you get to do when you mail them a copy of your book. They're going to have their book, and they're going to sit with you reading your book, hearing from you, and connecting with you, developing trust, and developing an emotional bond with you. You've got to understand it's an emotional decision first. Then we find all the logical reasons to back it up. Hiring an attorney to represent me is definitely an emotional decision. And when you can build trust and connect emotionally with that caller, you're going to get more business. That's what happens in their mind when you give them your book. Ken Hardison is president of PILMA, a legal marketing expert. He said, people hire lawyers they like and trust. That's one reason I've written so many books. I want people to see me as the expert in my field and the person they can trust to solve their problems. Now, a couple of years ago, we helped Ken publish Systematic Marketing. He has used that in a number of ways. In fact, today, we are promoting Ken and Systematic Marketing to be an Amazon best-selling author. That's one of the programs that we offer our clients. So if you've ever thought about publishing a book and becoming an Amazon best-selling author, we can help you do that. We guarantee you'll be an Amazon best-selling author. What will that do for you? It will give you a platform of credibility that nobody else in your market has, because it is very challenging to get to be an Amazon best-selling author. But we can make it happen for you if that's something that you desire. So Ken's going to become an Amazon best-selling author today. You could be one too if you want to. So we have found that there are really 3 obstacles that stop most lawyers from writing their book, and that's time, money, and know-how. So let's talk about all 3 of these. Let's do it in reverse order. Know-how. So how would you use your book to gain clients? Well, here are 3 simple ways. 1, use your book in your current advertising to generate more leads. So you're already paying for these ads. Your book will make them work better. What you want to do is, let's say you're running TV ads, you want to integrate your book into that TV ad and offer your book for free to anybody out there who is watching and who wants a free copy. You want to do that in billboard. You want to do that in magazine. You want to do that on pay-per-click. Everywhere you're advertising, you can integrate your book to make that ad different than everybody else, and it'll make those ads work better. You're not spending more money on advertising. You're changing the message to highlight the fact that you're an author, so you want to use your book. Second thing you want to do is when they call, you want to send every caller a signed copy of your book to differentiate yourself. It is amazing to me when I hand my book to somebody and I've signed it to them, they always appreciate it. They open it up, they see that I've signed it to them, they go, wow, you signed it. Of course I did, because that's what you do as an author, and they will never throw that book away. It makes a huge impact. The third thing you want to do is give copies to your clients and centers of influence to stimulate referrals. We all love referrals, but boy, are they hard to get sometimes. Why? Well, because we're asking people to do weird things by giving them our brochures or our business cards. How about this strategy? You're working with a client, they're happy with your service, and you say, would you do me a favor? They'll always say yes. You hand them 3 copies of your book and say, next time you are just in a conversation with somebody, a family member, somebody at work, about your case and how we're helping you, would you do me a favor and just hand them a copy of my book and say, this is who I trust to represent me. They're doing a great job. Here's the book they wrote. Would you do that for me? They'll always say yes. Now you're starting to gain referrals through your clients in a very fun and easy way. Centers of influence, the same thing. If a CPA is one of your centers of influence, they should have your book on their bookshelf so that they can reach up as they're talking with the client, pull it off and say, here's the person I think you should call. This is who I would trust. That's how you use your book to stimulate referrals with your clients and centers of influence. Now, those are 3 really simple strategies. We have dozens others that we teach you in our boot camp how to use your book to grow your business, because that's what it's all about. There are other ways to grow your business with your book, and in fact, Larry in Lawlytics has helped Kurt Lloyd create a website. Larry, you got the time to talk about this?
Yeah, absolutely. Kurt Lloyd is a very prominent medical malpractice attorney in Chicago, a guy I've known for several years. And he approached us and said he wanted to do exactly what you're talking about. He found that all other trial lawyers were looking for some kind of a resource on jury selection or how to eliminate jurors. And so Kurt wrote a book, this is just for Illinois lawyers, on jury selection. And he says it's the first and only published book for trial lawyers, and it comprehensively covers jury selection in Illinois. Now, these books are for attorneys only because he practices in a very specialized area, which is medical malpractice. And he gets his best cases from other attorneys. So if you were an attorney and you called Kurt and you wanted to establish a referral relationship with you, he will give you this jury selection book for free that you can use in your own practice. And it's everything that you were just saying. I mean, it creates an emotional connection with in this case, his target is attorneys. It demonstrates authority and expertise, and it puts them at the top rung of the ladder. So we put, I'm the senior legal marketing strategist at Lawlytics, which is a website building company. We work exclusively with small law firms, and we put this up online for him, and he's just had excellent results with it. Michael?
Well, it's a great strategy, and it's one of the strategies we teach. We don't build the website, but we teach them to create a landing page on a website or create another website to do exactly what Kurt's doing. So fabulous work, and it's just one more way to use your book to grow your practice. So getting back to where we were, do like Dino does. Dino Colombo, his book Never Settle for Less will publish here in a few weeks, and Dino is going to use it to generate leads. Okay, he's already cut his TV ads. When he hired us, a week later he says, "Hey Michael, I'm going to shoot some more TV ads next week," and so we created this cover for him. He went in and shot some TV ads using his book to offer it for free. Now those ads are ready to go, so that when his book publishes, Dino's out of the gate. He's already offering his book, no time wasted. He's obviously going to put it on his website, use it in a lot of other ways to generate leads. Then when the phone rings, guess what? He's going to use his book to convert callers. He's going to sign a copy, mail it out to that caller so that they can bond with him. And then when they become a client, you know what he's going to do? That's right. He's going to use his book to stimulate referrals. So Dino is going to use his book, as we've just talked about, to grow his business. So I think you should do like Dino does. So that's the third reason, right? The know-how. What do you do with your book? We've just explained what you can do with your book with 3 simple strategies. The second thing that stops lawyers from having their book is money. All right, national publishers are out there, they have no interest in you. They really don't have an interest in publishing a book for a local attorney. There are retail publishers you can hire to do your book. They're $25,000 to $50,000. It'll take you a year and a half to get it done. Or you can choose a niche publisher, which costs a lot less. We're a niche publisher for attorneys. We've helped attorneys in a variety of markets create their books and use it to grow their business. That's the second thing that stops lawyers. The third thing is time. It takes hundreds of hours to write a book, writing and rewriting. It takes 12 to 24 months if you ever finish. Ryan Sargent, met him 2 or 3 years ago at an event. He did not hire us. He tried to write his own book. A few weeks ago, he called. He says, Michael, I have a table of contents written after 2 years. I'm not going to get it done. He hired us. Now we have his manuscript done. He's going to publish his book in a few weeks and become an Amazon best-selling author. You also have the publishing process to navigate. The time it takes to understand how to get formatting done and cover design done, and ISBN numbers and everything else it takes to publish your book and get it distributed takes a lot of time. That's what stops you from writing your book. A book's really the only tool that provides you with endless strategies, meaning it stands on its own because you're an author, but it also integrates into all of the other marketing that you're doing. So the strategies of how you can use your book as a marketing tool are endless. It has shelf life. Your book's going to hang around. Think about Think and Grow Rich, or How to Win Friends and Influence People, or Stephen Covey's 7 Habits of Highly Effective People. These books have been around for decades. Your book has shelf life. It's going to be around for the rest of your career. And it's really interesting because just last week, I guess, I got an email from Larry Bodine, and he says, hey, look what I found on my bookshelf. And it was a picture of my book that I'd given Larry, I don't know, 2 or 3 years ago. He kept my book.
Yeah. Very true. I'm a big reader, Michael, as you know, and I was organizing my bookshelf, and there it is. There's the book that you wrote, that you gave me, and I had read years before, and I always kept it.
Yeah, and the reason you kept it is because books are never thrown away. It is almost sacrilegious in our culture to throw a book away, especially if it's signed to you. And so the purpose here, what you have to understand is it's never thrown away, so every time they see your book, they're going to think of you. So it's going to be on their bookshelf, their desk, their nightstand, and they're going to see your book, and they're going to remember you, and they're going to pick it up and use it as a resource. That's what you want in order to get on the top rung of that ladder. They're going to know you, like you, and trust you. And a book is a one-time investment. That's one of the things I love about it. Once you pay to have your book done, it's done. You never have to pay to have it done again. Unlike your website, your brochure, your business card, your TV ads, your billboards, you're always paying to redo those and to do it again and again and again. A book, you pay for it one time, and it's yours for life. So to convert more callers using your own book, well, you first need your own book, right? So how are you going to get your own book? Well, there are a few ways you can get this done. You can do it yourself. I did it myself with OnMarketing. It took me months to get it done, but it's possible. If you want to do it yourself, you can absolutely do that. You can license someone else's content. So they write the content, you just slap your name on it and send it out. That's an option you can go with. You can outsource it all. You can be like a general contractor, and you can hire the writers and the editors and the graphic artists and the format people and the layout artists, and you can hire all of that done. You can absolutely outsource all of this. Or you could just work with an experienced publisher who takes care of it all for you, like Paperback Expert. So what we do, we are a niche publisher for attorneys. So we help attorneys create their own book, and then we teach you how to use it to grow your business. As I mentioned, Systematic Marketing today is becoming an Amazon best-selling book. If you want to be an Amazon bestseller, we can guarantee to make that happen. If you don't want to be one, that's totally fine. We can still create and publish your book. As Larry said, our system is a speak-to-write process. That's how we can get your book done in 90 days with under 24 clock hours of your time. So you don't physically write your book on your computer. We interview you over the phone, we build an outline, we ask you questions, and you speak. You can talk about law all day long. It's what you do. You are an expert in it. What we do is take that information and get it out of your head, and we put it into print. So in 90 days from today, you could be holding your book in your hand. We also have worldwide distribution through Amazon and Kindle and Paperback. So your book's going to be on Amazon and Kindle for credibility. When you tell somebody you wrote a book, they're going there to check it out. Okay, you're not going to get rich selling this thing on Amazon. You're going to get rich because you're going to plug the holes in your bucket. You're going to convert 3% more every year, and you're going to put $648,000 in your pocket. That's how you're going to get rich with your book. Okay, so we help you understand all of that, and we do that through Author Bootcamp, where you learn exactly how to use your book to convert more clients and generate more profit. For the first couple years of our business, we published a lot of books for business owners, and we found they weren't doing anything with it. And we said, why? And they said, well, we don't really know what to do. So we created Author Bootcamp. It's an 8-week course. Every week you're going to be on the phone with us talking about exactly what to do with your book, and it's going to help you generate more profit. So that's what we do. Our clients, well, they speak for themselves. Steve Grover up in Canada says, people are impressed that I wrote a book. They see me as an expert and as someone like themselves. I use my book in many ways to market my firm and educate people. It's a great resource for the community and my business. Ryan Sargent, San Diego, said, I started on my book a year ago, haven't been able to finish it. It was never going to happen on my own. After a few phone calls, Michael and his team have my book nearly done. I couldn't have done this without them. And then Ken Hardison said, the process is simple, fast, and affordable. I use Michael to publish my book, Systematic Marketing. I refer people to him. My advice is to call Michael and start using your book to convert clients. So remember, let's go back to the conversion calculator. A 3% increase in caller conversions means money in your pocket. These are callers who are already coming to you. You're not spending more advertising dollars to get them to come. You're just converting 3% more of them. And with these numbers, converting 3% more of your current calls puts $648,000 in your pocket in the next 12 months. You know your numbers. You can run the numbers. It puts a lot of money in your pocket, money that you're giving away now to your competitors because you're not converting enough callers who are already calling you. That's what we can help you do. So remember, you don't need more leads. You need to convert more of the calls that you're already generating. And you can do that when you send every caller a signed copy of your own book. Now, do you remember the 3 obstacles that stop lawyers from writing a book? There was time, there was money, and there was know-how. Well, our process eliminates all 3 of those. So time, 90 days, less than 24 hours of your time. When you follow our process, you can have your book created, published, and be using it to generate more leads, converting more callers, and stimulating more referrals 90 days from today with less than 24 hours of your time. So time's no longer an issue. Money. Our process, $3,000 a month for 5 months. Your book's paid for. It's yours for life. We even include 100 copies of your book so you can start marketing immediately. Like Dino, he has the TV ads cut and ready to go. As soon as his book is published, those ads go on TV, and he's going to start giving them away. He's going to use some of those copies to start that process. And then know-how, we put you through Author Bootcamp. 8 weeks of teaching you exactly what to do with your book and how to use it to attract leads, convert callers to clients, and stimulate referrals, and do it all without spending another penny on more advertising. That's the concept. That's the power that a book can bring to you. And as I told you in the beginning, I'm not asking you to buy anything today. If this concept makes sense to you, if you've ever thought about writing a book, or if you just have some questions, the next step is really to schedule a call to see if this is right for you. You'll talk with me, and we'll have a 30-minute conversation about you and your firm and how a book can help you, and then we'll decide what the next best step really should be for you. No high-pressure sales. It's not what we're about. We want to help you grow if you think this might be right for you. You really won't know until you call us. So go to our website, paperbackexpert.com/personal injury. That's the page we've designed specifically for attorneys. Just go there, look at what we do. You'll see our 2 packages. If it's interesting to you, click the button and schedule a phone call with me at your convenience, and we'll chat and we'll talk about how we can help you convert more callers to clients without spending more money in advertising and put thousands of dollars in your pocket, not just this year, but every year for the rest of your career, because your book is going to become the cornerstone of your marketing for the rest of your career. So Larry, that's really what we wanted to share with everybody today, and to see how they could have a book. I'm sure that there are some other questions, so let's open it up and answer some questions.
You bet. I want to remind everybody to ask a question. Look at the flyout on the right, and you'll see that there's an option for questions. Now is the chance for you to ask yours. The first one we have for you, Michael, is from Andrew in Alabama. And he asks, have you seen any success in using digital mediums to position yourself as the expert, such as blogs and white papers?
Not really, because anybody can do a blog and anybody can write a white paper. They're so commonplace. It's very, very challenging to position yourself as an expert. Now, I mean, you can get a voice and you can build a list over time if you do that, but people don't see you as an expert. Experts have books. If you think of people like Tony Robbins, Dave Ramsey, all of those people we know and follow, we do that because they're an expert. Why are they an expert? They published a book. They all have blogs, they do white papers, but that's not what makes you an expert in the mind. People do not see blogs in the mind. They don't think of a blogger as an expert. They think of an author as an expert. So not really.
Okay. And we've got a question here from Ted. He asks, well, sending a book sounds like a great way to differentiate yourself from every other attorney, but what should I do after I mail them the book, or is that all you do?
Yeah, no, that's a great question. In our author boot camp, we give you an entire strategy of what to do, because so here's the strategy. Somebody calls you and you get their information and you hang up the phone and you mail them the book. So you've got their name, their address and all of that, and you wait a day or two. We tell you to FedEx it so it's there the next day. You pick up the phone, you call them and you say, hey Larry, did my book arrive or did the mailman lose it? Because I want to make sure that book gets in your hand because it has great information for you. And they say, no, it actually arrived yesterday. Awesome. I'm so glad it did. I hope you enjoy it. You hang up the phone. Now hopefully they get an email from you too. A couple days later, you get to call them back and say, hey Larry, did you get a chance to read my book yet? Because on chapter 3, it really talks about what you're interested in. What it does is it gives you a reason to call that person back besides, have you made a decision yet? No, I'm engaging them in a conversation because I've sent them a resource and a reason to read the book. Hopefully you know what their case is about and what their issue is, and you could say, I'm going to send you my book, and oh, by the way, read chapter 4 because it talks about exactly your situation. Then when you call them back, you say, hey, have you read chapter 4? So absolutely, we have an entire strategy we teach you in Author Bootcamp.
All right, we have a, whoops, let me get my screen right here. We have a question from John, and he says, do you only work with attorneys?
Hey, John, great question. The answer is no. Attorney is one of our primary markets, but we will work with, I won't say we'll work with anybody, but we'll work with almost any business owner who is an expert in what they do. So we've worked with financial planners. We've worked with a canine dog trainer. He trains canines for police forces. We've done automotive mechanics. We do a lot of books for a lot of people. We just know that it works really well for attorneys as well. So yes, John, we'll work with lots of different business owners.
Another question, this is from Stephen. Never mind. He just answered his own question.
Yeah.
All right, so keep asking the questions. You've only got a few minutes here to talk to Michael and get your question answered this minute. One of our callers asks you, Michael, what if you're a smaller firm going up against the 600-pound gorilla? How effective will having a book be for a little guy?
Oh, great question. Most of our clients are little guys, and it's going to be incredibly powerful. Think about Steve Grover. He's not a 600-pound gorilla up in Canada. What he's found is that when he puts his, the beautiful thing about a book is it allows you to tell your story. Think about the 600-pound gorilla, what they're saying on their TV ads. What are they saying in Billboard? What's every other attorney saying? They all say the same things.
Yeah, call now. Call this 1-800 number.
Yeah, I can get you millions of dollars, and it's like, you know what? That's all well and good, but I want to trust you. I want somebody I can know and trust and like, and that's what your book does. It allows you to actually flank the 600-pound gorilla. It's like in football, right? You want to flank them. You want to throw a screen pass to get around the big defensive line. That's what a book allows you to do, because the big 600-pound gorilla is not promoting their book. What you want to do is promote your book and the fact that you're an expert and that you have information you will freely give to somebody. Why do you do that? To capture their information and to build a relationship with them. You don't want to chase them. You want them to see you as somebody they can trust and somebody they can hire. So absolutely, what other strategy are you going to use against a 600-pound gorilla? You want to create a bigger TV campaign? I don't think so. You want to run more billboards? Probably not. But you can create a book that tells your story and connects with your audience, and we can teach you how to do that. Oh, it's so much fun to go against the gorillas.
All right, and we've got one last question, unless another one comes in, and it says, I'm sitting here thinking about that this is something I might want to do, but I'm not sure I have enough content to fill an entire book. What's your advice?
Yeah, that's a great question. We get that every week. My advice is schedule a call with me, because what you have to understand is you're stuck because you're thinking where you are, right? We come from an outside perspective, and we will ask you the questions to get the content out of you. Let me ask you this question. If you had a new prospect come into your office today and sit down with you and ask you for an hour different questions about their case, could you answer those questions? The answer, of course, is yes. That's what you need to put in your book. What we do is guide you and help craft that answer and that content into a book, because we're not attorneys. So we're going to ask you a lot of questions just like your client. You have more information and more content in your brain than you know what to do with. What you don't know what to do is how to get that out of your head and put it into a book. That's what we do. So we tell you, you don't have to write anything, just get on the phone, talk with us, and we will extract the information. Trust me. If I can write a book for a canine trainer, I can write a book for an attorney. You have more information than you know what to do with. We'll help you get it out, structure it, and make a great book that you'll be using for the rest of your career.
Okay, one last question, Michael, and this is for me, and that is, what about firms with multiple offices? How should they handle using a book?
I think that's great, Larry. You talk about return on investment. You create one book, and you use it in every office. So if you got offices in 5 different cities of a state, let's say, you're going to use that same book in every market. So you publish it one time, and now you're using it in multiple locations. If you want to personalize it for each location, we can easily add an introduction or something for each location. So you'd have different books for each location. We can easily do that. But what happens most of the time is you're writing one book, and you're just distributing it through a number of locations. Real estate agents do that as well, or real estate brokers, because they have offices in different locations. They do the exact same thing. So absolutely, that is a great strategy. And the other thing I love about it is it's one of the only mediums that allows you to do just that. But yeah, let's have a phone call and talk about that, and see how you can use your book in multiple locations, whether you personalize it or whether you just use one book. Absolutely doable, and it will help you grow your firm.
All right. Well, Michael, I want to give you about 10 seconds to think about one thing that everybody should take away from this webinar. And in the meantime, I'm going to thank everybody for attending today's program, brought to you by the National Trial Lawyers, where we have all sorts of good programs for attorneys. We're focusing primarily on marketing. So I advise you to, if you get an email from me, or you get an email about, or you read about it in the Voice for Justice, which the trial lawyer sends out, and there's a webinar, you should check it out because we're talking about marketing. And with that, Michael, what is the one thing that you would like, so just one thing you want people to take away from this presentation? What would that be?
Yeah, it's really to differentiate yourself. Don't market like everybody else markets, and do something that's going to position yourself as an expert. Give your information away, build trust, and you do. Honestly, it's easiest to do that through a book. There are lots of ways to do it, but differentiate yourself. Don't be like everybody else. Give me a reason to know, like, and trust you. Let me bond with you emotionally, and you'll just grow your business by leaps and bounds. So be different.
Awesome, Michael. Thank you so much for taking time out of your busy day to be on the presentation today. I want to thank everybody for attending. My name is Larry Bodine. We're going to call the program to an end. If you look at the bottom of the slide, you will see a link, http://bit.ly, and then some numbers and letters. That's where you go to get a copy of the slides you just looked at. We are also going to be making a recording, and you'll get a follow-up email that contains the link to the recording as well. And with that, I want to wish you a wonderful day. Thank you for attending, and when you're out there doing business development, I wish you happy hunting.